Alright, so back once again with another video, and in this one it's going to be probably a little bit of a controversial one. So this is going to be something of a personal opinion driven video that you might not agree with at all. So it's 10 games I think are actually overhyped. I'm going to give my reasons behind me thinking that these games are overhyped and everything, but it's just like 10 games that I find that there's like this very big following and they just don't either click with me or I've had fun with them, but I think that they missed the mark of being like very like hyped up and super cool and awesome and everything. So the top number one game that I always hear people hyping the hell out of, I fully played it in VR. It was not bad in VR. The little bit I played in VR, I should say. But the controls are kind of rough in VR. But the game is Skyrim. Elder Scrolls Skyrim, I think, is one of the most overhyped games in all of the gaming landscape that I've seen. It's just like there's so many more games that do what it does but does it better. I get that it's trying to be like a Game of Thrones style story thing going on with different factions and whatnot, warring over the countryside and all that stuff. But it was just like the Elder Scrolls whole melee combat system and just having to do shouts and everything. I'm like, that's the best they can do. That's the best they can come up with. Not something like really cool of having like a really big, like kind of like a cinematic. Like they try and go for cinematic, but the game engine just falls flat on its face every single time because it's such an old game system. And Elder Scrolls 6, like it's hard for me to be hyped up for it when the biggest draw for Skyrim is mods, and that's the reason why mods came over to console. I feel it was just like there's so many mods to make Skyrim into a good game. Like I guess it's a decent platform to build off from, but unless you mod it to make it your own experience, there's not much there. It's just like this really like stuck together with hopes and dreams style of a game that just kind of falls apart if you just play it normally. Okay, so Skyrim, yeah, definitely overhyped in my book. So the next one on this list I have not fully finished, and I think I've seen enough of it. I've seen about just about 3/4 of the game so far of the main storyline. It was kind of the reason why I wanted to start making this video. It just sparked up the idea of it. You're gonna hate me on this one. Nier Automata. It's just, I don't know. It's like 2B's a cool character, and I will say like all the games on this list, I will say I've had some fun with them, but I mean they just don't hit the mark. They're not there to where they could be or should be. So Nier Automata, I don't know. So I'm pretty sure it was started out as being like a Vita game, and then they made it a little bit too big for the Vita system to handle. So then they end up they ported it over to the consoles, added in the whole free roam aspect in there and everything. That's the reason why a lot of it is the side scrolling kind of camera angle and everything, classic Vita style of a game. But on top of that, I mean, Platinum, they did the best job that they could for what Platinum can do. Nier Automata just feels very barren of like there's barely any enemies in the game world. There's barely any AI that you talk to. Half the time the AI, they have like one or two lines of dialogue that's recorded of voiceover, and the rest of it you're reading. So it's this really weird thing of like, is it trying to be extra, like a big budget game, or is it not? Is like what? And then I felt like the combo system, again, I have not finished the game, so maybe the combo system in the second and third playthroughs of the storylines, because for some reason you had to play through New Game Plus to get the full story, and then you had to play through a second New Game Plus to get like a third chapter of the story instead of being 3 chapters of 3 different character arcs. And what it makes no sense. But the combat system in it's all right. I think if you put Nier Automata up against something like a Devil May Cry, a Bayonetta, even like a God of War or something, it kind of starts falling flat on its face. Like the limitations of the combat system. Sure, you can customize your weapons setup and everything, but I mean, it's just, like you could easily be stuck to using just a certain set of weapons throughout the game, just on the fact that you have so much of stats, stat boosts connected to each weapon and everything. Normal RPG stuff, I know, but I mean, if you get good enough, I guess at pairing and stuff, like the game's not hard, so you're not stuck on those stats, but it's just like it's just kind of annoying knowing that you're going to be dropping out like 150 attack damage by switching over to another weapon. So yeah, Nier Automata for the most part, from what I've seen of it so far, and I have not beaten like 2B's storyline. I am probably, like I said, like 3/4 of the way through, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't get too much more exciting gameplay wise and or overall gameplay wise of what I've seen. The storyline of like aliens and stuff being in the machine world, kind of interesting, but at the same time it just feels like Crisis, and Crisis kind of did it better from what I've seen so far. So Nier Automata, it could be taken off this list, but I'm pretty sure I've seen the most, the majority bulk of what the game has to offer, and it just kind of misses the mark. So another one would be Resident Evil 4. Now, I know that one's going to hurt a lot of people. Resident Evil 4, again, I like Resident Evil. I like all the Resident Evils. That's one of my favorite series. But Resident Evil 4, oof, that was just between the villains, Ashley running around, Leon, it's just like, oh God. And then, just really bad AI, some kind of crappy tank controls on it and everything. There is a possibility that there's a RE4 remake in the works and whatnot. I really wouldn't care for a remake of it though, because the storyline also is really rough. It has its funny moments, but it's so damn corny going through. The dudes in the robes are roar and everything. It's just, nah, man. To me, Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake are like pinnacle Resident Evil. Resident Evil 6 being more action-oriented, pretty cool. The original Resident Evils being very puzzly-oriented, very cool. But just like the very corny kind of try-hard comedy that Resident Evil 4 and sometimes 5 also, because 5 tries to be, it tries to be more in depth and everything. I have a hard time remembering a lot of the storyline to Resident Evil 5. It's just kind of, my brain just tuned out on Resident Evil 5. Leon looks cool in his jacket and everything. What was the guy's, I can't remember what the guy's name, but the Spanish dude that comes in. Ada looks awesome in Resident Evil 4. But yeah, there is some rough parts with RE4. That's why I think it's kind of overhyped. That's, RE4 is what some people's favorite Resident Evils. I don't get it. So the next one on the list, Dark Souls 1. And yes, I know. Ooh, I'm a fan of Souls games. I just think it was a building block, really. Like, Demon Souls started the kind of Soulsy type of genre. Dark Souls brought it into commercial success and brought it to everybody's attention. But I feel like everything that came after Dark Souls 1 just really amped everything up so much that it made Dark Souls 1 just kind of feel overhyped. And even when Dark Souls 1 first came out, I saw it and I was just like, like the game world never gripped me. The game world's like the whole time you're running through, everything looks mostly the same except for a couple parts in the game where everything does really switch around. Like the catacombs look pretty much the same design to me as the starting area. It's just, it's just like, it's just darker, and then you have some skulls on the walls. It still looks all very medieval to me. and the armor aesthetic too of everything. It just feels very medieval kind of, you know. But then you have something. So like Bloodborne, of course, is the better Soul. It's like one of the best Souls games ever. It's just got the atmosphere, the level design to it, and everything. The world, the look and feel of the stylized of the Gothic world. I think it's just way more appealing than medieval. Some people will like medieval way more. It's all personal preference. Again, I've had fun. I've had a lot of fun with Dark Souls 1. I just think it's kind of overhyped as being like one of the best ever Souls games. Just on the fact that like Dark Souls 3, even the very beginning, you have like a boss fight in there, and the boss is like pretty freaking cool. Dark Souls 1, it takes a while to get going, and there's like it. Also, the storyline is kind of non-existent. It's just about boss fights. Something like. Even like a Neo or something, you know, like those games have like this way, way, way better storyline added in. So it makes you actually care, you know, it makes you care about actually getting to the end of the game. Neo and Bloodborne both do an awesome job at that. So this next one, oh boy, this is, everybody's going to be butthurt on this one. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, like the series. I've had fun with them in the past, and sure, skateboarding games are fun for a minute, but man, do they fall off. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's just like, really, how many times are we going to go through a half pipe and try and get a best score ever, or you know, grind along a rail and try and collect all the letters on the rail or whatever? And it's just like, oh god. You do it a million times over again, and then the next game comes out and you do it all over again a million times. And then there's just this like really just rough stuff of like, oh, there's this competition, let's go sign up, da 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 da. I feel like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and Skate, all these skateboarding games, they turn into almost memes just because you're doing the same thing, and there's no, I don't know, there's not really a whole thing of like a push to make you want to become a better skateboarder, or to learn the ins and outs of like trying to perfect your skills with that skateboard. It's just about the I can hit a rail, yeah. You know, it's not that it needs to take itself totally serious or anything, but just like have something in there that just drives you in to make you go, I want to figure this, you know. Madden's storyline recently, where it's like the dude his father dies and everything, and then he's trying to make it in the NFL, you know, to follow that dream of that, like something like that, you know, just enough to oomph in there and just get you going of like, hell yeah, let's do this. So another, oh boy, a very big classic arcade game that everybody seems to really love still to this day, and I just have never gotten it. Left 4 Dead. Why is this such a thing? Why? It's just literally it's a story game based mode where it's a game based off from a level design of an enemy rush, and then they just made like 12 levels or something like that of just enemy rushes, and that's all you do. There's no reason for it. There's nothing to it. It's just an enemy rush. I don't get it. I don't get what the fuck's this. What's the end goal to it? And that I guess I could also push onto the next one of being Ark. What the fuck? Ark is literally just a tech demo. It's like a technical demo that you could go through and be like, okay, look at these graphics. You can build a house. You can set fire to this. You can beat up that. You can tame a wild. But there's no reason to care to do anything in it. That's my thing of it. I'm just like, this just feels like a tech demo that's just being put into the full price tag of a game. Why is that a thing? Why are you paying? Why you have to pay full price for a a survival game that has no storyline, has no cinematics, has no nothing to bring you into the world of like what the fuck is going on? Why am I here caring about anything in this world? Another one, and this one definitely is going to hurt some feelings. Overwatch definitely overhyped in my book. There's just like it's just another hero shooter. It got big because there was a bunch of streamers that were getting paid to play it. And then, I mean, I've had fun in it. I've had some time, but it's the lack of like a really hardcore run button always rubbed me the wrong way with it. Yes, there is competition. Yes, there is, tournaments and leagues and this and that stuff around it. Yes, there's people getting paid and making careers off of it and everything. The esports side of it, I can see that's kind of a cool thing. But overall, it's just another hero shooter. There's nothing really special about Overwatch. It's just the same kind of hero stuff that we've seen from other games like Team Fortress and such. Or like a Quake or something, we've seen those over and over again. Something like Rainbow Six Siege, I think, outperforms Overwatch in every way, just down to tactics and seeing cool operators. I mean, it's a very different aesthetic, of course. Overwatch is very kind of cartoony in a way, very animated in a way. Siege is very, way more down. It's my type of a game, down to to the brass and tacks, if you will, of everything. But yeah, Overwatch just always seemed like it was like this major success of a game. I'm just like, it's just another shooter. Like, there's nothing that sets it apart from anything else. Oh boy. Now this one, I can tell you right now, there's going to be some major haters on this, butthurt people left and right. They're going to hate me up and down for this one. Assassin's Creed Black Flag. I've streamed this game before on the stream. It was one of the first games I ever streamed, or on my Twitch stream. Sorry, I'm making a YouTube video. One of the first times I ever streamed on Twitch was Assassin's Creed Black Flag and Assassin's Creed 3. I was running through them, playing through them and everything. Maybe even replaying through them. I can't remember now. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Black Flag, definitely overhyped. That is a lot of people's favorite Assassin's Creed, and where it's a good pirate game, it's a terrible Assassin's Creed. It doesn't follow really any of the lore at all. Like the whole thing of the Hathways, they suck as assassins. They're not assassins in the slightest bit, and even one of them is a Templar. Won't go into spoilers, but yeah, some of the dumbest Assassin's Creed stuff is in Black Flag and 3 and all that, to where those characters just don't even feel like they fit in the lore of Assassin's Creed, which is when Assassin's Creed is built around lore. It's a story-driven game, and your main characters don't even feel like they fit in that lore. That just breaks the game right there. It just breaks everything that is the series is supposed to be about, of like history and this and that stuff. Like, it's cool seeing Blackbeard. It's cool seeing the historical figures in the game world. That's very much the Assassin's Creed, and the way that they're depicted in the game world is very much the Assassin's Creed. Going around the boats and everything, very cool. But also at the same time, you are kind of just doing the same damn, like the boat stuff is just a lot of just run up to this island, blow that thing up, go in there, take it over. Okay, but here's the difference, and a lot of people go, well, Assassin's Creed is the same thing. No, here's the difference though. You take like the original Assassin's Creed games, you would get the information from people, and then you would go and take out a main target. And you would have more and more cinematic stuff happening, and you get more and more of the story. And then on top of like the combat stuff that they tried to switch up from the original game to that, which kind of screwed up the combat a little bit. After you got used to it, it felt smooth-ish, but yeah, at first it was just like, it was a nightmare. Okay, now the last one on the list, the last one of this video. This video's been going for a minute. I have a lot of history with the series. I've streamed a lot of it. I've made a lot of videos on the series. I have actually played the second and third titles I'm going to be bringing up. But Call of Duty Black Ops. To me, the worst Call of Duty ever was Black Ops 1. I did not like the guns, did not like the maps and multiplayer, the storyline with Mason and numbers and everything. It was funny for a joke, but it was just like a lot of, it was cool seeing that era of the war and everything. It was a very, very cool dynamic of character of seeing, Mason his brains are kind of, screwed with and everything. And he's, seeing characters that aren't actually there and whatnot. And you get that, like the story mode, I guess, is actually pretty good. Woods and Mason and everything. And that whole adventure that they go on. The multiplayer side of things, the zombies side of things and all that stuff. It's just like the zombies mode just feels like any other zombies mode just tacked in there. The multiplayer felt so damn rough, and that was where you spend most of your time in Call of Duty is the multiplayer. It was so damn rough in Black Ops, especially if you're on like PS3 back then. But it's just like I said, the guns, worthless guns, half-ass maps, graphics engine that would kind of screw up every once in a while and whatnot. The matchmaking was kind of rough. The connection itself was terrible. Yeah. Black Ops, definitely overrated. Out of the Call of Duty series of where we are at now, that game was so damn overrated. Even Call of Duty Ghosts was better than Black Ops. And there's a lot of people that are against Ghosts also. But in my book, yeah, Black Ops was just rough. That was a rough period. And Black Ops 2 also. Just, Black Ops 3 was better for me personally. Just like I have nothing against jetpacks, but the guns worked a lot better. Like time to kill was a lot easier to do in Black Ops 3. Black Ops 2, I had the same problems as Black Ops 1 though. I couldn't get guns to work. Just didn't like the feel of the guns. I didn't like the time to kill in it. The maps were rough, just like the whole nine yards. The freaking connection was just terrible also and everything. So, 10 games that I think are overhyped. There's going to be a lot of butthurt people that watch this. There's going to be a lot of people that really hate me for this list and everything. But, yeah, and like I said, I've had some fun with all the games that I just listed, except for maybe Left 4 Dead, because Left 4 Dead just like, I guess I can say I had fun for like maybe a level or two, and then I'm just like, I've done this. This is the exact same thing, just over and over again. I don't get what the enjoyment is in this. With no reason to care about the characters or anything, nothing to draw me into it. Top 10 list of game. Well, not top 10, but 10 games overall that I think are just overhyped. Not saying that they're terrible or anything. Maybe Black Ops 1. I always try and find something to enjoy in games, even if they're terrible. In my book, Ark. Actually, I would say also Ark is probably Black Ops and Ark were the two games where I'm just like, this is rough. This is just fucking rough. But outside of that, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. I will be back live streaming once again on Twitch very soon. And you can find all the new videos on YouTube and social media up there. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for stopping by. And I will see ya next time.